Hello? Maybe. Who was that? Oh, hi, what's up?
If you're waiting for the press conference to start, you should watch that Veritas video. It's pretty good.
Well, it depends on if there's a starting at 2 minutes. I don't want to start it and turn it off immediately.
Well, but it seems like it's not going to start in a few minutes.
Well, it's supposed to start at 6:30, so...
Right.
I was going to watch it waiting, but now I'm not. Now I'm just going to sit here and not... Well, don't, why would you spoil the video if I'm going to watch it eventually? No, shut up. Go. Jesus. Okay. I love you.
Well, yeah.
Be careful.
I'll wait patiently for you to watch it, then. All right, bye.
Wait. Eat fresh.
Charlie Kirk definitely is not a super radical right-wing person, but I would say that he's more of the moderate to, you know, kind of extreme right-wing, a very, very radical right-wing. And he's even featured in South Park recently because of it. Charlie Kirk definitely is not a super radical right-wing person, but I would say that he's more of the moderate to, you know, kind of extreme.
Like, Asmongold is absolutely right, but he's right for the absolutely wrong reason. That's the issue that we have now because our politics has gotten so fucked. Charlie Kirk, like all considered, is relatively moderate in today's political climate, but that's because the average MAGA is fucking insane. The average MAGA supports the deployment of the National Guard to places like Chicago, or the average MAGA supports Donald Trump and the executive branch literally ruling unilaterally. The average MAGA supports Donald Trump personally directing Pam Bondi to investigate political opponents. Like, so he's right in that sense, but he's so wrong. Like, it's so fucked.
Extreme right-wing, very, very, I would say, lukewarm, though, in my opinion, at least especially, and this is where we're going, especially compared to now. And what I think is going to happen now, because obviously these shootings like this don't really happen inside of a vacuum, and they never do, they never have. And I think that the situation we have right now is that there is a tremendous amount of political violence that is advocated for, promoted, and allowed to exist on social media that has turned up the temperature in all political conversations, all social conversations, and all discourse on the internet. And
fuck you!
Of political violence that is advocated for, promoted, and allowed to exist on social media.
Yeah, because you guys cried about getting banned all the fucking time. That's your fault. You cried about getting banned on Facebook. You cried about getting banned on Twitter, so Elon Musk bought it. You cried to Zuckerberg personally. Donald Trump was banned on social media platforms for advocating for violence. That's what he got banned for, was for the J6 stuff. And then he sued these companies. He got millions of dollars in payouts because he's personal friends with the CEO to get his account banned. Yeah, no shit, there's violence on all these social media platforms. You guys cried about it and said it was freedom of speech.
That has turned up the temperature in all political conversations, all social conversations, and all discourse on the internet in general to a point where it's almost unrecoverable. You have people that are out there all the time advocating for violence, advocating for people to get killed. Somebody needs to take care of this guy. Somebody needs to deal with this. I wish he were dead. Won't somebody do it? The 8647, all of the crypto messaging and all the doxing, right? Why do you dox somebody? Why do you post the person's home address?
It's not incorrect.
It's to make other people that are insane, like the person who killed Charlie Kirk, it's to give them the ammunition they need to
Is there another... Did this guy just bait me? Okay, you're banned. Good luck.
to kill that person and to put that person's life in danger. That's why they're doing it. And so that's the reason why they want to find out the identities of ICE agents. That's the reason why they want to find out the identities of Tesla owners, like at the beginning of the year. It's so
guys, people say it's mean, it's jokes. The line, unfortunately, too big now.
People are just saying it's mean, it's jokes. That's what you guys said. That's what you guys said about every single fucking thing that Donald Trump has said and done. It's all jokes. It's all all of it is just jokes. It's just Donald Trump memeing. All of you have said this.
And the gray are too much. What? Advocate for violence, intended somebody's gonna die or get killed, whatever. A million times with memes, whatever, right? I'm gonna tweet a picture of this gun. I'm gonna tweet about this person dying. I'm gonna tweet about this car person getting killed. I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna do it in a way that it's not. I'm not doing it exactly right. I'm like just keep doing it because it's a good meme. Oh, somebody actually brought a gun. Whoa, what do you mean? What the fuck? How? That's not what we meant, dude. Just don't do it. It's just cringe. It's cringe. It's not just edgy. It's wrong.
They can destroy their car and destroy their lives. And this is
why do you think that doing dark humor is bad when you have no finesse with a big platform? Because when you have absolutely zero finesse with humor, and you make jokes that are like, "Oh, dude, women can't drive."
They called it alligator Alcatraz. Like, I'm sorry, but little bro's delusional.
Whatever, right? If you have finesse and this is funny, and the point, there's no point. It's just a joke, right? People will say, that's funny, right? But when you don't have finesse, right? You say, People don't seem to go, True, fuck them, fuck women. And then it actually fosters this type of mindset, and other symptoms arise from that type of behavior. And that's a problem. You know, that's a problem. That's not a good thing. Like, and that's the problem with these memes and these advocating for violence, whatever, is that, oh, guys, for you, it's just whatever. But when it actually happens, right, these guys feel they're part of the group. These people, they're saying, oh, in this example, people are saying, fuck women. They think they're part of the group. They think they're being validated. They think that's what we're doing here. They think that's the energy that we're bringing on. That's the problem.
Isn't necessarily a one-sided thing. I think that in the last 5 years or so, especially since BLM, it's been a like 90% left-wing thing. But that doesn't mean that the 10% right-wing people are right either. But I do think that now you're going to see a lot more right-wing people balancing out.
What? Okay, what?
Years or so, especially since BLM, lives. And this.
By the way, you want to know where these political views actually come from? And as ironic as it is, because Hassan likes to blame me all the time, a lot of it comes from Hassan. Because these fucking retards, okay, XQ Down syndrome, and fucking Asmongold trisomy 23, these guys get all of their political views and all of their understanding of current politics from social media and Twitch. So in their mind, the average liberal must be Hassan Piker, who's an actual literal fucking terrorist and an actual literal fucking terrorist supporter, an insane piece of shit, right? But in their mind, this must be the average guy on the left, I guess. And then a MAGA person is the average guy on the right. And they're more or less lined up, except Trump. Hassan's rhetoric is probably more extreme, at least outwardly. So, I mean, like, that's a lot of that is a social media environment that Twitch enforces. So it's not even that surprising how these retards would end up this point of view. It's funny that Hassan likes to pretend that, I'm influencing these guys. Probably is Hassan is the one who's influencing these guys in another direction way more than I am.
Years or so, especially since BLM, lives. And this isn't necessarily a one-sided thing. I think that in the last 5 years or so, especially since BLM, it's been a like 90% left-wing thing. But that doesn't mean that the 10% right-wing people are right either. But I do think that now you're going to see a lot more right-wing people balancing out those scales. The fact is that you can take a knife to a gunfight all you want, and you can think that you're honorable, but you're going to end up being dead. And I think that's what right-wing people have done for a very long time. They tried to speak above the political violence. They tried to advocate above it and not try to stoop down to that level. But the issue is that a lot of these social media companies have expressed.
We'll never say Elon Musk, just social media companies.
The partnership we have with you.
Oh, God. This is where they announced they have fucking nothing. And all of the leaked information so far has been wrong, except maybe, hopefully, the video of the guy is real. The bullet leads are bullshit. They don't have any fucking markings on anything. You can see from the look on his face. Oh, God. Pray to God that this announcement is not them saying that the guy in the videos or whatever, we don't think he's the shooter. We have no idea. We just want to talk to him. Oh, boy.
Communications Director for the Utah Department of Public Safety. This evening, we have FBI Director Patel, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles, Governor Spencer Cox, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, and Commissioner Anderson, as well as, I'm so sorry, Commissioner.
Also, just because they're having a lot of jokes and memes, just so that I'm absolutely fucking clear, I hope they find this dude, and I hope they hang this guy. It is absolutely unacceptable to be out and about assassinating people, okay? That's wild. Same feelings I have about Luigi, I have about this dude. Not acceptable, not okay, not cool, not epic, and not based. Just insane.
Commissioner Bo Mason, as well as some local partners here present with us today. Governor, we'll kick it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight. We appreciate the media and the partnership we have with you in helping us to get information out to the public so that we can catch this assassin and hold him accountable. We are going to share a portion of a video and that we have of the suspect, as well as some new stills. Those have already been released, but we want to make sure that they get as much attention as possible so that we can get help from the public.
They still think he's the suspect,
in tracking down this evil human being. So we're going to queue up the video right now. Show that. I've asked Commissioner Bo Mason.
Oh, it's going to be the same shit, is it?
What's happening in this video?
Thank you, Governor. Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter was chromed out in the top left corner. We'll go ahead and play that video, and I'll narrate as we walk through that. Was chromed out in the top left corner. We'll go ahead and play that video, and I'll narrate as we walk through that. So here you see the suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge.
No
and drop
shot.
down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions.
What?
Some smudges, some places where
No way! What?
There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black T-shirt, his black pants, and appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis
Is it black pants or blue jeans or dark jeans? Do we know that? Feel like I keep hearing two different things.
shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. In the stills that are going to follow this, you're going to see a very distinctive T-shirt with an American flag and appears to have an eagle on it. There's also a baseball cap with a triangle on it and a pair of sunglasses. All distinctive, all the things that we would ask the public to look for and try to identify if they know someone who has those items, who has been seen wearing those items. We're looking for all that information. Here you see the suspect after dropping off the building. He moved around across this grassy area, around the parking lot. We're going to pan to the right.
And he's just walking away. This is actually like a Jason Bourne thing.
After
Jesus.
he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area.
Like,
This is
he's just chilling.
the video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence. Good. You want to go to the stills?
Oh, and he has the gun with him. How? Did they say? Wait.
This is the video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence. Good. You want to go to the stills? So here's the still photographs I mentioned. Good. You want to go to the stills?
It's just in the backpack or whatever?
So here's the still photographs I mentioned. These have been enhanced. So these are slightly different than what we introduced earlier. Please pay close attention to the T-shirt, like I said, very distinctive with that American flag and that eagle. The hat with the triangle and the sunglasses. If you go to the next picture, please.
I feel like somebody should have identified the shirt by now, no? I feel like somebody should know where the shirt is, right?
The backpack as well. All identifying features that we're hoping the public can help us identify and lead us to this suspect. Next picture. And again, there's a better picture of the hat with that triangle logo, and again, the T-shirt. Blue jeans, and you get a good look at those Converse tennis shoes as well. We have pushed these out, we'll continue to push these out, and we just ask for the public's cooperation through the public. The tips that have been coming in are what are giving us our next leads and enabling us to continue to further this investigation. We've had great cooperation from the public, and we're continuing to ask for that as we move forward. Thank you, and I'll turn time back over to Governor Cox.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mason. I want to thank Director Patel and his team. It's great to have them on the ground with us tonight. We've had several briefings, and he's had an opportunity to walk the crime scene. We appreciate our local law enforcement here. Again, we have Mike Smith, who is the county sheriff here. We have all of our local chiefs of police that are here as well, all working hand in hand with the state and with the FBI as we move forward with this investigation. Now, just give you a little more. We will not be taking any questions at this time. We're giving you the latest.
Isn't there a way to know who bought the gun with a serial number? No. Conservatives have relentlessly pushed to make it really difficult to track guns. That won't necessarily tell us the thing. You might be able to know who made the original sale, but if it was sold privately, if it was traded to another person, you wouldn't have a federal record of any of that. So it depends. Depends on how he bought the gun.
Information we have, being as transparent with everything that we have, but I do want to share a couple things that I think are important. We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing. This case also highlights the dedication of our law enforcement community. We have 20 federal, state, and local law enforcement partners that are working shoulder to shoulder to find the person who committed this horrific crime. With their support, we've completed nearly 200 interviews. As you're aware, as has already been reported, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk. We also continue to implore the public to support this investigation and come forward with any information. We are truly hopeful that this video and new photos will lead to even more tips. We are processing. We have an incredible team, a state and federal team working together to process those tips. We are going out in tandem to interview any potential person of interest or suspects. But we need, again, we need as much help as we can possibly get. Any videos or photos that you might have, the public, should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley Shooting, all lowercase. Again, that is fbi.gov/Utah Valley Shooting, all lowercase. You can also provide general tips about the shooting by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI, or at tips.fbi.gov. This is, I would just say, this is not just a local matter here in Utah. We have people all over the country that are helping to bring this perpetrator to justice for Charlie Kirk and his family. I will just add as well that, as was mentioned, there is a lot of forensic evidence that is being processed right now at both the state lab and the federal labs, on the East Coast. So we are working in tandem together. I would also just add a word of note for those people who are spending so much time on social media. I think Charlie said best, that when things get bad, we should put our phones down and spend a little time with our families. There is a tremendous amount of disinformation. We are tracking our team, the state team, and and I'm sure the federal team as well. What we're seeing is our adversaries want violence. China, we have bots from Russia, China, all over the world that are trying to instill disinformation and encourage violence. I would encourage you to ignore those, to turn off those streams, and spend a little more time with our families. We desperately need some healing. We'll have more to say about that in the days and weeks to come. More than anything, we are going to catch this person. Last thing I will just say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case, and that will happen here in the state of Utah. Again, to the public, to those who are grieving, thank you for your prayers. I know we are feeling those prayers. I know the Kirk family is feeling those prayers as well. We pray that God will bless our nation at this very dark time. We can start healing by finding this perpetrator and holding him accountable, and we need your help to do that. Thank you.
Wait, what? Hello? The head of my Federal Bureau of Investigation is not going to say anything? Hello, the head of my FBI is not going to make a statement? No, he's going. I'm sorry. I'm just screaming for no reason. He's going around. He's about to. My bad. I'm sorry. He is. He's about to. They're moving the cameras. Hold on.
I don't know. That's what he was saying. I'm just relaying the message.
Well, I know. I was trying to zoom in on the video, but I want to make sure, because they're streaming on digital, I want to make sure it looks nice.
Are they streaming on digital?
He's coming back.
Okay, all right. Well, hold on. Joel. I will double check though. Okay. Where's that at? I don't know.
They're not even sure if they're going to release it. Yeah.
Shot it, they replayed it.
Well, I don't know what he was saying there. He says you zoomed in and then you zoomed out.
The first one.
Let me
Hot
just
micing.
have him text you because I apologize. I'm not wanting to be in the mix of between you and.
Are the engravings on the rounds real though? It's unconfirmed still. If I had to guess, my very preliminary guess would be that it's not real, because if they had that information, I feel like they'd be releasing it maybe to try to find more people that would be able to know who this guy is, or maybe they wouldn't because they wouldn't want to lead anybody to a wild goose chase. I don't know. I didn't follow like the Luigi shit because I don't normally follow breaking news, but it's normally I know my colleagues get killed. For the Luigi stuff, did they release a bunch of like manifesto information and shit before they caught him? Yeah, they did. Was it 4 days to catch Luigi, or how long was it? Oh my God, stop. Rewind and enhance that hot mic.
I apologize. I'm not wanting to be in the mix of between you and.
They said they have more, they're not releasing it? Wait, where?
I will double check though. Okay. Where's that at? I don't know.
They're not even sure if they're going to release it.
They're not even sure if they're going to release it.
Yeah.
Shot it, they replayed it.
Wait, hold on.
Okay. I don't know. That's what he was saying. I'm just relaying the message.
Well, I know. I was trying to zoom in on the video, but I want to make sure, because they're streaming on digital, I want to make sure it looks nice.
Are they streaming on digital?
The desk, I would assume.
Hey, Mr. Chairman. You guys want to know for the camera?
Okay, all right. Well, hold on.
Joel.
I will double check though. Okay. Where's that at?
I don't know.
They're not even sure if they're going to release it. Yeah.
Shot it, they replayed it.
Well, I don't know what he was saying there. He says you zoomed in and then you zoomed out.
The first one.
Let me just have him text you because I apologize. I'm not wanting to be in the mix of between you and
Well, the FBI director literally never says shit during these press conferences for active manhunts in the country. It's always a spokesperson or the lead investigator in the state. Calm down. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe it is true. Like I said, I don't usually cover breaking news because it's boring.
Literally zero.
90% of these stats are being thrown around. It's kind of whatever. I don't know what are the stats for political inclinations with some of the things that are being talked about. I won't speak on it. I would more challenge the stats. I don't know. What we'd have to look at some
desire
stuff.
to even do the bare minimum of moderation.
Remember, the facts aren't important, just the rhetoric. Like, just being able to, like, speak about things and kind of having your own theories and ideas. The facts themselves aren't really that important.
I think that two of the worst actors are Twitter or X and Reddit. Both of these platforms are full of a bunch of extremist nut jobs that not only should have their accounts banned, but they should probably be put in mental institutions.
Who was the person that rolled back all of the moderation for X? Who was the person that everybody was cheering on for being the free speech warrior that all these guys were dick-sucking a while ago?
And I think that now, I find it to be kind of interesting taking a step back for a week or so and seeing how many people are coming around to the inevitable reality that this is the only path forward. There are so many people in society now that are just completely unhinged, under-medicated, and really just completely
under-medicated? Wait, so is it too much medication or is it too little medication? What do we... whatever.
insane.
Anything but telling the president to calm the fuck down. Anything but that. Anything but saying maybe Donald Trump should, like, chill the fuck out. Anything but that. Anything else but that. More SSRIs, less social media accounts, more people, anything but telling Donald Trump to say, hey, it's too much. Both sides need to bring this the fuck down. Anything but that.
That you can't have a person like that running wild out in society. They cause problems for themselves, not to mention everybody else around them. And I think that the society, we need to have an honest conversation about how to deal with these people in a way that, and I'll be real, I don't really care about the people that are crazy. Their well-being and the way that, you know, things are for them. Of course, obviously, I wouldn't want it to be bad, but it's certainly not important. What's really important is all the people who aren't crazy, making sure that people that are not crazy, that are good actors, that are law-abiding citizens, are able to live a life of peace, a life of prosperity, and a life without fear of going on the subway, for example, as at the recent event as well. And I think that every single person in the world deserves to live in a place like that. And I don't want to see, America turn into a PvP server. And it sure seems like...
I mean, dude, we're like fucking 12 years, 15 years back.
Canadian, by the way. I don't know why I'm saying we.
That's that point.
It is. And I think that in order to prevent that from happening, we need to have honest conversations about what do you do with people that, get arrested 14 times. And it's not even a question, right? You put them
This is not the same. The planned assassination of a political figure is not the same as like random acts of violence, which are bad and we should do something about them, but these are not coming from the same place.
Jail and you throw away the key and you compel them to work, and that way you can make the money back from imprisoning them forever. That's the way that you solve that problem. It's very simple, actually. But for some reason, the way that makes people feel has made them unwilling to look at this obvious truth. If you look in history, this is what we've always done in history, and it's because it works. And the problem is that now we have so much of the discourse that's dominated by emotional thinking, that's dominated by the most unstable, the most virtue signal, the most, ridiculous, performative, empathy.
Hold on, I'm so sorry. Wait, what's he saying here? Hold on.
Is that now we have so much of the discourse that's dominated by emotional thinking, that's dominated by the most unstable, the most virtue signal, the most, ridiculous, performative empathy possible, and that's defining a huge political voice in the country. This has become a tremendous detriment to everyone, and I think that with people like the shooter, that probably...
Well,
where's the Trump truths with the invading Chicago tomorrow stuff? Where's that, anything but telling Trump, anything but saying that the Republicans need to calm the fuck down. Anything but that.
Oh, and the big man had 8 weeks of energy. Who am I? When have I not been against violence? Buddy, even when people that I hate, even when people that I absolutely despise, I always call out violence. Buddy, even when people that I hate, even when people that I absolutely despise, I always call out incredibly hard. The senators, what? Now I know you don't want to stream it. It's all good. You just want to stream it. It's all good.
He shot Charlie Kirk, with that guy in the subway that stabbed that Ukrainian woman, or with that trans shooter that shot up the school.
Stop linking an Elon Musk post with 2 exclamation marks. Don't ever link an Elon Musk tweet in my chat. I don't care. I don't even know it's him half the time. The guy tweets 7,000 times a day with random exclamation marks. I don't give a fuck. Stop spamming this retarded fucking tweet in my chat. Yes, I know, it's Hassan. Here, look, wow. Hassan thing. Oh, Elon Musk too. I don't care. Please stop spamming with retarded fucking tweets from this fucking retard. Holy shit. Just mail me the ketamine directly next time so I can at least enjoy getting high. Just having to read tweets from somebody else who's abusing it. Jesus.
Among all of them is that these people...
The reason why a lot of people are visceral about this one, right? And I tweeted about it, is simple. Yes, bad things when they happen, right? Might go under the radar or whatever, right? When some guy is at a school having a dialogue in front of thousands of people, plus a bunch of people watching at home, I'm sure it's being broadcast in other places, and some guy shoots him in broad daylight, it explodes the topic. It becomes multiple layers above it. So yes, it becomes publicized. Yes, it becomes more out there, more awareness. So yes, the impact will be bigger. So that's what about it. It's what it is. What about it? Well, it's not unreasonable of me. It's more in your face. So you'll react to things in your face. If things are more like this all day, you go, dude, you have to react. It's right there. But if you go, yo, yeah, you might react a little bit less. It's that simple. It's not some pick and choose shit, man.
Beforehand, and nothing ever was done about it. And until we can stomach the idea of solving problems like that before they happen, we're going to keep having problems. And I think that with Charlie Kirk, it's very obvious that the amount of, political violence and advocating for political violence that's happening on the internet has turned up the temperature and created an environment and a culture where this type of behavior is normal. And not only is it normal, but it's actually encouraged. And the problem is that now people are acting on it. And you're starting to see this happen, and I think it's going to continue.
Like, you just have no business talking about it. Now it's going to start to happen. Now that Charlie, like, this is the equivalent of, like, history started on October 7th, or history started in 1948, or history started in whatever arbitrary year you're going to choose. Like, now it's a problem. Now that somebody we know died, now it's for real. Jeez, I'm fucking drooling on myself. Now it's an issue, right? Now it's no, it's been an issue for the entirety of Trump's presidency. Remember, I'm not even saying that, like, these guys should be condemned forever, right? Like, I sincerely mean this. This comes from a place of political care. It comes from a place of, like, caring about my country, and it also comes from a place of personal concern for my own safety. It would be a good thing if Donald Trump came out and said, all of us need to calm the fuck down. All of us need to take a step back and chill, okay? For you to say, now it's a problem, after you joke about dressing up like a Pokemon trainer to go deport immigrants. This is destroying people's lives. You want to talk about, no offense, but you talk about, like, oh no, Charlie Kirk, his kids aren't going to have a father. Yeah, but you guys laughed and memed when Abrego and all these other people are shipped off. What? Their kids aren't going to have parents, right? If their parents are shipped off to other countries or to fucking concentration camps in El Salvador. You guys memed and laughed when it was about war with Greenland and taking over Panama and renaming it to the Department of War and pardoning all the J6ers. And, like, all of these things are meme until a bad thing happens. Like, oh shit, guys. Like, excuse me. It's not even like the writing is on the wall. It's like a dude with a loudspeakers standing next to you saying, you're getting ready for violence. And then it happens. And you're like, holy shit, I could have never seen that coming.
I don't think Charlie Kirk is going to be the last one, but I think that we will look at Charlie Kirk's death and see it as a turning point in this topic. And what I'm really trying to get at here with this entire...
Mainstream media is fucking ass dog shit.
It is. But for exactly the opposite reason that he thinks. When I was on Kick earlier because I was doing work on my other monitor for like 2 hours, and we watched CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. This is every single interview, every single part of the coverage of CNN and MSNBC on this topic. Hello, fellow Democrat. Hello, man, what's going on? Well, we all need to calm the fuck down. It's a lot. There's a lot of, extremist rhetoric. We all need to chill out, and, like, everybody, we all have a role in this. Like, okay, yeah, true. Like, not good. Charlie Kirk dying is not good. Yeah, really bad. It's bad. It's really bad. Fox News. We're going to get vengeance on these motherfuckers. These extremist leftist Democrats, we're going to fucking get these guys. It's not enough to condemn the shooter. We need to fight back. It's a holy war. The Democrats are evil. They're literally hell. They're Satan's but we need to take these guys out. We're going to fight. Like, it's not even remotely equivalent between the two sides right now. Like, what are they, where was that one website? What did Hamster Hawk link? Fuck, is he still in chat? Fuck, what was the Fox News streaming site? Does anybody remember what the URL was? I don't remember what it was. Oh. What are they talking about right now?
Sure, you know, a lot of those things were coming into play.
Hannity, oh boy.
Yeah, John Solomon, let me go back to you if I may. And let's go back to where we started tonight's show, and that is the release of the TMZ video. And the new photos that were released, the 4 of them, and then couple that together with the new video that they shared with us, law enforcement just shared with us in the last hour. And if we go back to the TMZ video, what do we see? We see somebody in one direction. He's not just limping. If you watch very closely, he is dragging his right leg, right? Okay, then you go to the 2 still photos that we have and that we've enhanced a little bit, and you can see a bulge. In one, you see the bulge around the ankle, and in another picture of the 4 pictures released, you see the bulge around the knee. Okay, then you see the return of what we believe. The clothing looks similar. Then we see what looks like, or what looks to be the return. This picture right there on the screen. And if you watch the second part of this video, watch this individual run. This person's not dragging their leg any longer. This person is not limping. You put that together with this individual prone position on the roof, Converse sneakers, jumping off the roof, young age, I would argue proficient in the use of firearms. I was a pistol marksman at 10 or 11 because of my parents' work. What do you, when you put it all together, what do you come up with?
Well, first off, I thought Nicole and Maureen's analysis is brilliant. You're right. He's holding the butt of the gun down because it's probably creeping up in his pants and it eventually will pop out of his shirt. So he's trying to hold it down in the pocket. He's limping because he's got a device in there. He's dragging it. He clearly doesn't have an injury because he drops off that roof and can run. So he's not limping because of an injury. He's limping because of an uncomfortable device that's been stuffed down his pants. And he seems to have some familiarity with the neighborhood where he's coming in and going out. He knows where he's going. And I think that the fact that he knows that neighborhood either tells us he did some prep work or he's from the area and knows the neighborhood. But he knows exactly how to run through those along that fence line as he's getting away quickly. And I think that that is an important clue. And I saw a lot of activity today with my reporters on the ground there in that neighborhood looking for any piece of evidence. But, Nicole and Maureen have been solving cases for many years. I'm just a journalist, but their analysis is brilliant. It's consistent with what I've been told is what the FBI and the local law enforcement believe. And so they've got great evidence. They don't have an identity yet. And I think that when they get that identity, they're going to be able to roll. Once they get that identity, the evidence here is going to be so overwhelming. That shoe print, that palm print, that DNA, they're going to have a lock solid case. But first, they got to figure out who is this man? Where is he from? How did he get there that day? And those are the questions that remain unanswered at this hour.
Let me go back to one little point as we look at the new video that law enforcement released tonight. And Nicole, I'll throw this to you. Where is the gun as he's jumping? It does appear like he's holding on. You're correct. Right there. So that something doesn't come out. But unlike the TMZ video, which is prior to the assassination, unlike that video where he's limping, after he lands...
The TMZ video is prior and after.
At that point, you're right.
Oh, that's after. Whoops, sorry. I think I just said it.
Right, and that's a very, astute observation because, again, that's a little puzzling for law enforcement, right? He's limping before when it's in his pants, but yet he's able to jump off of the roof and it's still in his pants and he's able to land on the ground and start running. Again, we know that firearm, we believe that the firearm that was found in the forest, in the wooded area across from where this incident occurred, does belong to the offender. And so there are a lot of questions that law enforcement is trying to answer, but right now, the top priority is who is this individual? And again, sometimes it's as easy as tracing the gun. ATF traces weapons all the time and it goes back, but this, does not appear to be that simple in this.
Sideways, bottom of the bill, mental retardation levels of trash I'm so tired of it.
Point
It's
is that
insane.
right now, we are at a extremely pivotal moment. And I think that what's going to end up happening is that right-wing people are not going to continue to turn the other cheek. They're not going to continue to just, oh, well, you know, this is just a crazy left-wing radical. I think you're probably going to see right-wing people doing the same thing to left-wing people. And honestly, while I don't think this is a good thing, I certainly don't.
The alternative is holding them to a higher standard and just and going hard at them when they do some stupid ass shit. It's that simple. Stop glorifying killers. Stop making it all about who they were and what they were going to be in life. And stop doing this massive story. Nobody gives a shit.
By the way, what were they trying to do recently? Did they get a sign off on the fucking Ashley Babbitt presidential or fucking military send off? Hello?
You do massive acts like murder and massacres. You're not some whatever. You're what we call a fucking loser cuck. You're nothing. You're an ant. But they make these massive. Oh my god.
Did they actually get that approved, or? The U.S. Air Force is providing military funeral honors for Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran who was killed during the Jan 6, 2021 Capitol riot. The decision was made by the Trump admin after the Biden admin had initially denied the honors. Didn't they also get like a $10 million or $15 million payout from the government as well? They renamed a military base after her? I think that was a fake story. I don't think that was real. That was like an AI thing or whatever.
Another shooting. How could this happen? We didn't. They make like anti-heroes and it's just trash portrayal of everything. It's garbage.
I don't feel that's sorry.
Always identity politics, fucking lace trash.
Have no problem advocating for violence, or at least using coded language in order to advocate for violence. The fact is that there's a certain level of intellectual dishonesty that goes on in situations like this, where it's considered, oh well, you know, this isn't actually what they meant, and no, this is actually some others. No, it is. It's exactly what they mean. They're trying to advocate for killing people that.
You want to go back?
And honestly, while I don't think this is a good thing, I certainly don't really feel that sorry for them, because a lot of left-wing people have no problem advocating for violence.
This is the point, remember? This is the point, right? We're already here, guys. The left is already genociding us, right? So why would we feel sorry for them? We're just fighting back, right? We're fighting back. Remember, they're not trying to bring it to the civility thing because they think that they're right here. So they're trying to bring it back to the violence thing. But this is like where we're locked right now. And remember, if you give up, right? If you give up while one side is being violent, all you're doing is being pushed to the utter annihilation section of the prisoner's dilemma graph.
Violence, or at least using coded language in order to advocate for violence. The fact is that there's a certain level of intellectual.
Even though this has some form of validity, it's unfortunate, but portraying his argument this way makes it a cycle. And it sucks, but what if somebody uses justification to do the other thing that would prompt this justification, that would prompt the next guy to do the same thing, that would prompt him to do the same justification? It's why
like that's what you're doing right now. Does he not understand that that's literally what they're both doing right now? He's describing what they're doing in real time.
Portraying his argument this way makes it a cycle. And it sucks, but what if somebody uses justification to do the other thing that would prompt this justification, that would prompt the next guy to do the same thing, that would prompt him to do the same justification? It's why it's a cycle. It's why I hate it this way. Don't get me wrong. I hate this way. But my takes are always pussy takes all the time because I stand up when it comes down to it's a no across the board. I don't give a shit. Nobody deserves it. Nobody, even though somebody might be advocating for that. You know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. All right, nobody deserves the shit.
That goes on in situations like this, where it's considered, oh well, you know, this isn't actually what they meant, and no, this is actually some others. No, it is. It's exactly what they mean. They're trying to advocate for killing people that they disagree with. That's what's happening, and there's no talking around it. And to the extent that you try to, you're insulting the intelligence of anyone that you're speaking to.
Oh, so coded language exists on the left, but on the right.
And I think that now you're going to start seeing a lot of right-wing people end up doing this to left-wing people now even more, because it's very.
That's a pretty grim prediction. I hope it's not true, and I don't see it that way. And if I can have a message to bad actors out there, is that doing it, just being better and continuing to do what you think is good, okay, speaks volumes. It speaks that you're unshaken. When people become unhinged and radicalized, you don't become radicalized. You do your thing and you can put your head down to what you think is the best path forward. It's that simple, unfazed. It is what it is. Oh, because they're radical, I'm gonna be radical. This is trash mindset, buddy.
Clear that.
Like, this is retarded. It's just retarded. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that you can allow yourself to be completely consumed and defeated by the other side and just sit there and be more pure about it. Like, that's just unfortunate. This isn't how reality works. It's not how reality works.
These social media platforms are not going to moderate this behavior. The FBI, for whatever reason, just refuses to deal with or have any degree of accountability for dealing with these obvious terrorists that are in the country. And because of that, I think you're going to start seeing.
I keep my word, buddy. I've kept my word since I've started my stream. Bro, show me one instance of that I ignored and then then go against violence. Dude, I hate violence. Everybody knows I was always arguments around even being physical with somebody, like hitting him. I hate violence. I think it's trash. It's just trash. People say, oh, dude, so proud. But when you make it a point to always be this way and always do that, you're allowed to speak that way. Like, otherwise you're just thinking like a bitch ass.
Violence from right-wing people as well. And
even this loser politics with this shit right now.
I don't really think the word is justified because it's not justified, but the word is expected. I think it's going to be expected. The fact is that, again, you bring a knife to a gunfight, you're going to lose. And don't be surprised when you keep bringing guns to gunfights and then somebody else decides to start shooting back. I think that's what's going to happen. And
I'd like to walk about with this. Nice.
And this is going to be, in my opinion, I don't really think the word is justified because it's not justified, but the word is expected. I think it's going to be expected. The fact is that, again, you bring a knife to a...
I disagree. I don't think it's expected.
What XQC talk to you? I don't know. We're on Discord. Spam his chat. I listen. If he wants to chat, I'm always free. The last time I messaged him, he ignored me. Okay, listen. I'm obviously always. I don't know why you're spamming me to.
Actually, hopefully people that are on this side of the hour, they stand on business and don't change the way that they're acting in regards to violence. And nobody does anything. Why? Because doing something just continues a cycle of violence. It doesn't go anywhere. It makes everybody look stupid. That's the main problem with some of these guys that do these like acts of terrorism. That they think, oh, dude, this is gonna achieve so much. But in fact, it just makes their whole people look fucking brain dead. It devalidates all their opinions, and then you say it becomes automatically correct.
Gunfight.
How is that hard to understand?
And don't be surprised when you keep...
When you had a protest, the whole weight of what you're saying goes flat when you're on the top of a car burning shit down. You're a dumb fuck. I don't care how good your argument is. When you're doing it while throwing fire and shit and burning cars, I stop listening. You are now a dumb fuck. Oh my god, it's a dibble.
Guns to gunfights, and then somebody else decides to start shooting back. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think this is a degradation of society as a whole. And ultimately, the real burden of responsibility
this is it. Holy shit, he's so right-wing. Dude.
The real burden of responsibility. Who is it going to be on? Not going to be on the leader of the country. Not going to be the guy who won the popular vote. Not going to be the guy who can have, like the power to, speak to the entire country at once as our leader.
Policing policing your protest to stay legal so that everybody looks good, whatever. How is that right wing? To guys, let's not be dumb fucks. Let's
like remember, right? This is you're seeing the conservative brain rot machine in action right here, right? What is he talking about when he's saying burn cars down, right? He's talking about the very small protest that happened in LA where there were people doing unhinged retarded shit. What is he not talking about? He's not talking about the 10 to 15 million people that protested on the No Kings Day that basically went by without a single fucking report that I'm aware of literally fucking anything. Almost nothing happened on that day in terms of violence. But he's not talking about that because he doesn't care about that because it doesn't suit what he's talking about right now. Instead, he wants to hyperfixate on the cringe fucking losers that were setting cars on fire, taking wacky pictures on like day 1 or 2 maybe, but not on the 10 million plus people that were protesting, a couple weeks after because it's... So this is the fixation, and that's the more accurate representation.
Let's not. Oh, I'm at a hockey game. Let's not fucking throw shit on the ice, guys. And some guy does this shit. Yo, what the fuck are you doing? But if you go, oh, I love that. Can you give me one all through? Yo, it's a problem. You can, without arresting somebody, you can police each other and say, guys, we're not fucking brain. Let's not do this shit. It's not that hard. It really isn't hard. It really is not.
True. Policing each other. True. What was that guy? Fuck, can I find that? Oh, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Not the heads on pikes guy, although that guy's funny too. What was the guy in like, he was wearing like a fucking body armor, or he had like the jacket with the mags in it or whatever. I'm not gonna be able to find this fucking video. God damn it! Even if you can see that the left is as bad as the right, it's still Trump's job to lead the country. How anyone could look at this situation. Well, yeah, I know. The reality is the president should be going above and beyond. But we're just asking for like parity. Can you just be as good as like the bare minimum? The reality is that he should rise above like Biden did. That's what he should do. But he can't do that, right? Donald Trump is blaming the radical Democrat leftists for the shooting without knowing who the shooter is. But all of MAGA was literally giving themselves wedgies and crying and shitting and pissing all over their living rooms when Hillary Clinton uttered the grotesquely horrible phrase, please mute your headphones if you're easily triggered, okay? I'm so sorry. This is a very, very offensive phrase. When she called them a basket of deplorables, they lost their fucking minds over that. They lost their fucking minds over that. It was so stupid. And Hillary was stupid too, because she should have stood by it. She was right.
That he mentioned a lot of riot minute Pence. Those who actors.
Police ourselves, guys. Fuck. It's a guy, it's some fat, he looks like every conservative ever. And he's like, well, we just heard that Mike Pence wasn't doing his job. He better have, or we're going to be down there. We're going to go. He was talking as he was walking. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? He had like one of those stupid fucking vests on. What am I thinking of? Fuck. Max said he'll talk to you later when he's on kick. Okay. Somebody find the video.
And I don't think that it falls even on the commenters themselves.
J6, the fact your brain automatically just thought about a rebuttal on how something is worse. Bro, it's a logical, it's a dialogue fallacy. Double fault. Oh, because this, that. Dude, this is some caveman shit. Caveman. Oh, we get to throw fire at cars on because J6 happened. What a stupid fucking mindset, dude. How many brain cells you got left? It's gotta be under 10. You get
it falls primarily on the government.
It's not even just, again, and this is why I will always push back, like, oh, why are you talking about this? Why are you talking about this? Excuse me, you pardoned all of them in 2024. The reason why you have to bring this chain of events up is because you can't understand history in a vacuum. There are no such things as discrete events that happen in history. Everything builds off of one thing to the next. You can't understand, 2001 without understanding the year 2000. You can't understand 9/11 without having at least some background to U.S. involvement in the Middle East. You can't understand the second Gulf War without knowing why Saddam Hussein was left there after the first Gulf War. You can't understand, how do you understand anything in a vacuum? How can you pretend that there's some discrete event? Like, how does October 7th make sense, without talking about 2014 or 2008 or disengagement in 2005 or the Second Intifada in 2000 or the everything builds. It's so stupid to be like, how could you talk? What do you mean? Why are you bringing about this? And then they do this stupid thing to go, whataboutism. It's not whataboutism to say what happened first, what caused this, right? That's so fucking stupid. You go to the hospital and it's like, oh my God, I'm type 2 diabetic, doc. I think my shit is fucked. And it's like, oof, well, what have you been eating? Oh, you're going to whataboutism to my diet? You're going to whataboutism? We've got this guy in the ICU. We're not sure there's a fucking gaping wound in his stomach. What's going on? I think he got shot. He got shot? Whataboutism? You're going to whatabout to what happened before he came in here? I just want to know right now what's going, it's such a stupid thing, right? The whataboutism is, what do you do when the president of the United States tells his whole political movement, you can commit crimes, you can commit insurrections, you can do things. It's almost like he believes that, as long as you're doing things that are for the benefit of his political movement and the country, you can't commit crime. It's almost like he said that exactly. It's almost like he's tweeted out those exact words or whatever, right? He who saves his country can't commit any crime or whatever. Jesus, it doesn't get any more clear. It's so cringe. Oh my God. It's like Nazi Germany, 1940, whatever. And it's like, we've got to find this. There's got to be at least one direct order of Hitler talking about, killing the Jews. And Hitler's like, oh, I cannot say anything directly about this. There's one telegram or whatever. He's liquidating, a car of people. And then meanwhile, it's like Donald Trump. If Hitler was Donald Trump, he'd be giving a speech in 1929 saying, guys, we got to get all these fucking Jews out of here. We got to get them out of here. We got to do something about these And then 12 years later, people are like, what? Concentration camps? Where did these motherfuckers come from? Who could have seen it coming? What?
Stupid fucking mindset, dude. How many brain cells you got left? It's gotta be under 10. You get
it falls primarily on the government. The fact is that the government, there are already laws that permit, explicit calls to violence. There's already laws that permit the types of stalking and doxing that people engage in online. And one of the big things that is a misconception is that people like me want new laws. We want any form of extra censorship at all. I certainly don't want that, and I don't know anybody else that does.
But conservatives don't condemn J6. I don't care. You want to show you're better?
Shut up, you fucking loser. God, give me oh my God. You want to show you're better than them? Then just get slaughtered.
New almond shimmering oil. Non-greasy finish.
Thank you.
Instant
Yes.
glow.
Yes. Glow, queen.
Make time for body bliss.
Okay, thank you.
Shop now at L'Occitane.com.
Will do.
I'm telling you what, I'm hearing the
this
Pence.
guy.
I'm hearing the Pence just caved.
No.
Police your own, guys.
Is that true?
I didn't
I'm hearing reports that Pence caved.
No
I'm
way.
telling you, if Pence caved, we're gonna drag motherfuckers through the streets. You fucking
He means Streets was a Twitter group, and he means drag them, like drag them online.
politicians are gonna get fucking drugged through the streets. Yeah. Because we're not gonna have our fucking shit stolen. We're not gonna have our election, our country stolen.
Like, it doesn't even get any more direct, right? Like, he's referencing things that Donald Trump just said in a speech like 20 minutes ago. They're trying to steal your country.
If we find out you politicians voted for it, we're gonna drag your fucking ass.
They didn't vote the right way. The politicians didn't vote for the right thing. Like, he's directly referencing all of the things that Donald Trump just said in his speech. You have to show strength. You have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing, and only count the electors have been lawfully slated. You've got to do the right thing. They've got to vote for the right people.
Ass through the street. Because it's the second fucking revolution. So let me find
Second revolution? Didn't that start with an insurrection?
out, Pitts.
Also, and remember, all of these I'm sorry, dude. Oh God, we're playing video games later. I can't. I hate politics. This guy was the top secret instigator to the entire event.
Man from Arizona has pleaded guilty.
Where is he? Show me the Ray Epps thing.
Ray Epps.
Where he's like, we're going to go into the Capitol.
I'm going to put it out there. I'm probably going to go to jail for it, okay? Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol.
Peacefully. He said peacefully. He said peacefully. Why does it count when Trump says peacefully one time in an hour-long speech? It doesn't count when Ray Epps said peacefully? This guy was supposedly the undercover Fed that instigated the entirety of this event. But not any of these guys, I guess. None of these people.
Fucking revolution.
Not
so
this
let
guy.
me find out, Pitts. Let me find out myself that you treason the country. We'll fucking drag your ass too.
Not that guy.
Cut their head off.
He means metaphorically, guys, like the Hydra.
You can do it. You do the right thing, or we're gonna force you to do the right thing.
Not these guys.
And then do what? Heads on pikes.
Not these guys. Not these guys. Remember, every single person involved with that, event, all received presidential pardons, including the people who were planning all of it from the beginning, including the Proud Boys, including the people convicted of seditious conspiracy, the people that were wheeling in boxes of guns and ammo, okay? People who were literally on camera wheeling in.
Prosecutors offered surveillance photos, they say, show Vallejo wheeling the stockpile into a hotel near the Capitol.
We have all the signal logs, everything of these guys talking about their plans. And as soon as Trump gives the word, they're going to be ready to fucking go forth and fucking invade the Capitol.
Where do we shoot people?
We've got all the people that were talking about and bragging about all the training they were doing. Like, we have them on camera being the first people to break through every single barrier, but none of them mattered. They were all pardoned. Like, the idea that it's just like... It's so out in the open. It's just to hear people like this and then to have them, all of them given a pardon. And then these guys are like, well, what does it matter? What is the message that you're sending, bro?
Then don't do the same thing. Like I just said, you want to stand on business? Then don't do those things. Then don't fucking do the riots and the illegal protests. Actually stand on business and do the proper shit. And that is standing on business. But nobody these days actually stands on business. Everybody wants to look like they are. Nobody wants to actually do the correct thing. It's branded. Zero IQ. Zero.
But what we do want is we want the existing laws to be applied and to be enforced in an accurate and a fair way, which is clearly not what's happening. And really, the government not doing that and giving this asymmetrical, in my opinion, advantage to left-wing people.
I agree with this, unfortunately.
And with complete freedom, practice genuine terrorism on a daily basis, and then, congratulate each other about how moral and how good they are for doing it because of something bad that happened in Palestine or something bad that Donald Trump did 3 years ago. This is just simply a...
How many times do I hear BLM brought up over and over and over again? But we can't talk about... What is the... I'm curious, if we compare, how many people did Trump pardon related to J6 versus how many of the BLM rioters did Biden pardon? Does anybody remember what was the number on BLM rioters that Joe Biden pardoned for the whole BLM riots? Does anybody remember? I'm trying to remember what the number was. Certainly it wasn't fucking 0.
Response. This is what's going to happen. And so, and I think that that's probably what it's going to take for these left-wing people to
I say unfortunately, because I don't even understand how I'm saying.
Realize what a bad idea what they've been doing is. Because until it starts happening to them, until they start having people that are their friends or, their, like icons that they look up to.
I'm not a fan of the language here, on the line.
Until they start seeing those people get killed, I don't think it's really going to be real for them. And unfortunately, I think that's the path that we're headed down because of the government and social media companies and every other seemingly governmental apparatus that has just completely hand-waved this problem and ignored it entirely. So the death of Charlie Kirk and the assassination of him should not come as a surprise to anyone. This should be something that everybody could have expected. All you had to do was read Twitter for an hour and you could have told me this would have happened, of course. Same with Reddit. And until that core problem is addressed, you will continue to see a rapid decline in any type of social discourse. And I'm actually kind of afraid to see what's going to happen next.
He's not afraid. Also, to be clear, when these guys talk like that, they're memeing, they're trolling. Because you better fucking believe that if people were getting killed and my president was coming out and just blaming the right without even knowing who the fuck the shooter was, and I've got to go out and do events and I know that they're going to be coming for my ass next, it's like, Biden, can we like chill it out a little bit, dog? Then I would be probably worried, and I'd be kind of wondering, like, hey, are we gonna do anything about this? He's not worried though. He loves this shit. They all love it. They're like Hamas, basically. At the end of the day, I mean, it's two sides of the same coin, I guess. Like more death, more chaos, more because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect them personally. He's out here printing 7 figures a month at least on all of this political shit. They love it. They all love this shit.
So the death of Charlie Kirk and the assassination of him should not come as a surprise to anyone. This should be something that everybody could have expected. All you had to do was read Twitter for an hour and you could have told me this would have happened, of course. Same with Reddit. And until that core problem is addressed, you will continue to see a rapid decline in any type of social discourse. And I'm actually kind of afraid to see what's going to happen next because I think it's just going to continue getting worse and I don't see the reason for it to stop. And so anyway, I wanted to make this video because it's obviously a topic that, I've been talking about this a lot for the past few years now, and I was laughed at a lot, and people are telling me it wasn't that big of a deal, and they were joking. Well, I saw the video. That wasn't a joke. And the reality is that those jokes and everything create a culture and an environment.
Agreed.
Who's he talking about again?
Because I think it's just going to get worse, and I'm actually kind of afraid to see what's going to happen next because I think it's just going to continue getting worse, and I don't see the reason for it to stop. And so anyway, I wanted to make this video because it's obviously a topic that, I've been talking about this a lot for the past few years now, and I was laughed at a lot, and people are telling me it wasn't that big of a deal, and they were joking. Well, I saw the video. That wasn't a joke.
Which, he means the video of Charlie Kirk getting killed? Oh.
And the reality is that those jokes and everything create a culture and an environment where the actual actions are more permissible. And you also have people that are the ones telling me...
This is very correct. It's absolutely correct. It doesn't matter how many times we're going to say, this is not true. This is not true. Well, it absolutely is true. It's true in every way. There's no way to defend it.
So the next time Trump jokes about locking up his political opponents, putting somebody like Liz Cheney in front of a fucking firing squad, another Second Amendment or shooting comment, or did I already use the invading countries, bombing people? The next time, invading countries, we're past that. Invading cities with the National Guard or the military. So the next time he makes a joke about this, are we going to say, hey, maybe that's not funny, maybe he should stop? Or is Donald Trump the only one who's allowed to tell jokes here?
That are talking around directly saying that this is a bad thing and it shouldn't be tolerated for any reason. You have, I don't want to go through a bunch of different names, but anybody, this is the way I look at it, I'm just going to make a categorical judgment here, is that any content creator or anybody like this who has been advocating for violence against the person in an extrajudicial way. I'm not talking about trying people who they disagree with for treason. This is
extrajudicial way, like invoking the Alien Enemies Act to allow you to extrajudicially export an entire group of people out of this country to random countries of your choosing. Like which extrajudicial, like the fucking executive branch that doesn't even believe in checks and balances, or that want to fight against the ability for federal judges to even rule on federal matters. Like extrajudicial, like in what way?
Against the person in an extrajudicial way. I'm not talking about trying people who they disagree with for treason. This is advocating for the judicial process to be used against people they disagree with. I think that's fine. But whenever you have people that are saying...
I misunderstood that. He didn't say advocating for trying people for treason because you disagree with them politically, did he? I missed that, right? Or I think I went through that too fast. Hold on.
Any content creator or anybody like in an extrajudicial way. I'm not talking about trying people who they disagree with for treason. This is advocating for the judicial process to be used against people they disagree with. I think that's fine.
Okay.
But whenever you have people that are saying things like 8647, or anybody who's advocating...
Oh, okay. 8647, not okay. But trying people for treason because you disagree with them, okay. What?
You get the funny examples of who didn't, who said this, and who would have done that, and who is like you're achieving some form of progress anywhere, instead of just being, this is trash. We shouldn't be conducting ourselves this way. I don't think it's crazy to say that, and just end the conversation right there. How hard is it?
Form of extrajudicial justice, extrajudicial justice, and basically vigilante justice on people who they disagree with politically. You have to realize that all of those people, I think, have made themselves acceptable targets, and I think that there's a lot and millions of people out there nowadays that see that, and I think that should be extremely worrying for them.
I didn't hear.
You have to realize that all of those people, I think, have made themselves acceptable targets. Vigilante judicial justice, extrajudicial justice, and basically vigilante justice on people who they disagree with politically. You have to realize that all of those people, I think, have made themselves acceptable targets, and I think that there's a lot.
It's okay, XQC, agree with them. I know you want to. Go ahead.
And millions of people out there nowadays that see that, and I think that should be extremely worrying for them. It should be terrifying.
Okay, no, I understand the wording.
No,
okay,
you got it.
The
We
wording
agree.
was a little bit complicated
But we
because
got
they had
it.
to go
We got
under
there.
to come back above,
Yeah.
so it looked like it was going in the right direction. This is the wording. I don't think I completely missed it. Did I miss it?
No, you got it. You're good.
Chat, did I miss it? I still think that maybe I misunderstood. I still think that it's deplorable that it's this way. That it would make you an acceptable targets or whatever. It's a bad thing. I think you get the same. I'm going back. I think I had it right.
Advocating for any form of extrajudicial justice, extrajudicial justice, and basically vigilante justice on people who they disagree with politically. You have to realize that all of those people, I think, have made themselves acceptable targets, and I think that there's a lot and millions of people out there nowadays that see that, and I think that should be extremely worrying for them. It should be terrifying. But the reality is,
like, the frustrating / funny / doomer thing is that he's not even really wrong. It's just the factual underpinning of what he's saying is what makes it so fucked. Like, I think there is an argument for if you advocate for certain things, you can absolutely be a target based on what you're saying. But in Asmongold's mind, none of that applies to the right, but that applies to almost everybody on the left. Like, it's just like, I don't know, man.
they have created that environment themselves through their own actions, through their behavior, and through their own words.
We have, for
you reap
sure.
what you sow.
When
And
you reap what you sow, they still don't even believe in the results of the last election. You reap what you sow.
I think that things are about to get a whole lot worse.
But
so anyway,
This
guys,
guy
I
is
want to make this
spouting
video and
holier
talk
than
about
thou
it.
virtue,
And
signalling
that's about all I've
dog
got to
shit, and he
say.
defended it.
So I hope to
Rules
be
for
back
thee, not for
soon.
me.
I'll record videos when I can, here and there. But for the most
And then if things get flat and things get like not much happens, and we're gonna forget about the context of how this began or whatever, and then they do some bad things, right? Then what happens next? Then the people on the opposite side will say, oh well, dude, if they do this, then reap what you sow. Here we come, and now we're gonna do this, and then something happens. Things get flat. Things happen. Oh, we don't know what they're gonna do this, and it's just a cycle of violence. Nobody's winning in this. Like nobody's progressing anywhere. It's just trash. Like I don't even understand how even he thinks this is an acceptable way of portraying this topic. It's just stupid. This is blinded. This is like a fucking, I don't know. It's like Rust. It's like Rust. Like when you just keep going back for your loot, and then they come out, and it's this endless thing, and nobody progresses anywhere. Nobody's achieving anything. Like.
part, as I said before, my dad has had so many really serious issues going on. I need to devote my full attention to making sure that he's healthy and taken care of. And so as much as I look forward to streaming, this has to take priority. I don't have a time frame. It will probably be a matter of weeks and maybe not even that long until I'm back regularly. And so hopefully that's the case. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, another senseless death that never needed to happen. And I think that anybody who was, talking about this and turning up the heat on any of this type of political rhetoric and discussing, or at least, flirting with the idea of political violence.
See, like, I still voice when I disagree with him. I think it's okay to disagree. Like, I disagree with a lot of his, a lot of the wording, a lot of his predictions, but still agree with a lot of his sentiments. It's not as like defended, cut and dry bullshit. I can have my own opinions about this shit. It's what it is. It's not like black and white. Like, I was looking at this. I don't support political violence against anyone.
No, we gotta, the moment is clear. You gotta sick like the ACP guys on him. Okay, that's it. You gotta get one of those like Haz al Dink type motherfuckers to just like eat his ass alive, Let him fight.
Jesus, what is Hassan even talking about?
Whatever the fuck his name is. What is it?
You see what I'm saying, though, right? You understand, right? That for Asmongold, and maybe for everybody on Twitch, I don't know, in their mind, people like Asmongold and XQC are like the right, which they probably are. I think Asmongold is probably like 80-ish to 90-ish% in alignment with MAGA beliefs. XQC maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 50 to 80%, depends on, I guess, how, if we were to run through them all. Hassan is like 2% in alignment with the Democratic Party. But the people on Twitch, because of what Twitch is provided for, right? The people on Twitch think that Asmongold is your average MAGA person, which he is. And then Hassan Piker and Denims and Mike from PA and all the weird guys, that these are your average Democrat. They're not. They're extremely fringe. But it doesn't seem that way if you're on that platform.
Hi, guys.
I wonder if he says anything about Trump. Is this not working? Notice how Donald Trump says Russia wouldn't have invaded Ukraine if he was president. Was there any mass unrest under Biden? Am I missing a huge event that I'm cringe for forgetting? Because what the fuck is going on under Trump? That the largest women's march, I think, ever in all of history happened when he was president. We had all the BLM riots that happened when he was president. We had the whole J6 shit happen when he was president. We've had assassinations now of political figures when he was president. What the fuck? If he can't even stop people from doing shit in his own country, why the fuck would he have stopped Russia from invading Ukraine?
It's me again, and today we're going to look at some of the interesting users on...
Half the list is under Trump. Hold on. George Floyd protests, Earth Day, list. The section lists one-day protest events in the U.S. with at least 100,000 participants. George Floyd, that was our boy Trump. No Kings protest, that was our boy Trump. 2017 Women's March. Okay, so 3 out of 5 of the top protests in all of U.S. history were under Trump. Hands off protest nationwide, that was under Trump. March for Our Lives, that was Biden, 2018. Although it was for gun control, a thing that Biden probably agrees with. And 2018 Women's March was under Biden. Ricky Renuncia, San Juan in Puerto Rico. This is under Biden. I don't know what happened with this. March for Science. Who cares about science? March for Life. Climate strikes. Nice. These are getting smaller, but... Palestine. Here's a good one. That's the one that needed to be crushed by Biden that he didn't do a good job at. Wait, 2018 is Trump? 2021 to 2020, beginning of 5. Oh wait, Jesus Christ. Wait, hold on. So of the top 10, we have George Floyd, No Kings, the Women's March, Hands Off protest, March for Our Lives, Women's March, and the Puerto Rico one. Jesus. That 8 out of 10? Somebody said 7 out of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 of the top. Nice. Based. King. Asmongold's take on political violence a month ago.
Do you think that things will swing so far to the right we'll get segregation level stuff again? No. There won't be a need for segregation. That's what I think. I think that they will remove the majority of them, and there won't be a need for it. That's what I think. That's what I think will happen. I think it will radicalize people so much that they will be that extreme. As I said, I think that the outcome for this will be worse than World War II.
Wait, what is he?
I say. I refer to myself as English a lot, not British, which is ironic, I know, because my name is British Lander. And I don't want people who are Welsh or Scottish or Ulsterman to take some kind of offence from that. It's just
Everybody says, yeah, that's bad. What, Lamau? No, bro. Clip what I'm saying. Clip it, ship it, save it, keep it, hold on to it, and wait for it.
Wait, what was the...
Do you think that things will swing so far to the right, we'll get segregation level stuff again? No. There won't be a need for segregation. That's what I think. I think that they will remove the majority of them, and there won't be a need for it. That's what I think. That's what I think will happen.
What does this retarded fuck think segregation was? Does he think segregation was like when there weren't a lot of non-white immigrants here, or what? It's about the British rape gangs? Oh, okay.
I think it will radicalize people so much that they will be that extreme. As I said, I think that the outcome for this will be worse than World War II.
Okay. I don't know if he's talking about U.S. politics while listening to the Brit guy, or if he's talking about British politics, or...
Just saying, if you guys say it's rigged because I said so, why is it not rigged when Donald Trump says so? You have to manifest some form of proof or some sort of method.
Media outlets are forced into exile. From TV channel Dost and independent news website Medusa to the research network Dossier Center that Ilya works for. But it seems that dissidents are not even safe in exile. Amnesty has documented at least 3 poison gas attacks on Russian journalists living abroad. According to Reporters Without Borders, 2011 parliamentary elections. In 2017, it was extended to cover media outlets. Putin's crackdown on press freedom was in full swing.
So it's way worse now. You can spend your whole life in prison for reporting. Back in 2008, the only consequences for reaction could be that your newspaper...
Wait, is he trying to make the argument that Russian elections are as legitimate as US elections? Is that...
...would be shut down, and that's it.
Dozens of journalists and media...
Was it actually rigged? How is it rigged? How's it rigged? How did they do it? I'm more interested in how they did it. What, am I allowed to ask how they did it? Guys, in order to stop rigging stuff, you need to understand and ask how it's rigged, so you understand what to look for. Fake votes. I don't get it. You guys are not giving me answers, so mail-in votes. Okay, shut up. But okay, because I'm not being rude. I'm just saying. If you guys say it's rigged because I said so, why is it not rigged when Donald Trump says so? You have to manifest some form of proof or some sort of method.
Outlets are forced into exile. From TV channel Dost and independent news website Medusa to the research network Dossier Center.
To be fair, Putin is very popular. 64.35% of the vote. Good job. How do you do in 2018? 77.53% of the vote. Very nice. What about 2024? Damn, 88.48% of the vote. This loser opposition only got 4.37. What an actual Chad. Wow. Good for you, man.
That Ilya works for. But it seems that dissidents are not even safe in exile. Amnesty has documented at least 3 poison gas attacks on Russian journalists living abroad. According to Reporters Without Borders, at least 37 journalists have been murdered in Russia since 2011. Today, Russian media collectively speak with one voice, Putin's. But even in a system built on secrecy and control, not everything can stay hidden. In 2013, Putin and Ludmila publicly announced that they're living in separate homes. The divorce follows soon after. In the meantime, Kabaeva has become a member of parliament for Putin's United Russia Party. In 2014, she's appointed chair of the board of directors at Russia's largest media conglomerate, NGM. And Ilya says her relationship with Putin has long become an open secret.
It was just pure common knowledge that Alina Kabaeva and Vladimir Putin, that they are together.
But no one seemed to know anything about secret children, not in Russia or anywhere else in the world. Not until 2015, when a Swiss newspaper breaks a very interesting story. Another interesting Swiss article is published in 2022. Reporters claim Alina Kabaeva gave birth at a private clinic in the Swiss city of Lugano. For Ilya, this is where the real investigation begins. As a former KGB agent, Putin surely knows the value of privacy. If nobody can find his family, then nobody can hurt them. Most of us don't live under that kind of scrutiny, but our private data is still exposed online. Name. This is the private clinic in Lugano.
Destiny's the bullet bouncing off the bulletproof armor real? Not sure where I heard that, but it sounds crazy. I never heard of a caliber that big being able to just bounce off of something, hitting it from that angle and going somewhere else. I've never seen that demonstrated. I don't know if anybody actually believes that. I don't think there's been any autopsy evidence or anything. I think that was just a thing said online. I don't think there's any evidence for that. Okay, let's watch this guy.
About the most famous problem in game theory. Problems of this sort pop up everywhere, from nations locked in conflict to roommates doing the dishes. Even game shows have been based around this concept. Figuring out the best strategy can mean the difference between life and death, war and peace, flourishing and the destruction of the planet. And in the mechanics of this game, we may find the very source of one of the most unexpected phenomena in nature: cooperation. On the 3rd of September 1949, an American weather monitoring plane collected air samples over Japan. In those samples, they found traces of radioactive material. The Navy quickly collected and tested rainwater samples from their ships and bases all over the world. They also detected small amounts of cerium-141 and yttrium-91. But these isotopes have half-lives of 1 or 2 months, so they must have been produced recently.
Wow.
And the only place they could have come from was a nuclear explosion.
Oh.
But the US hadn't performed any tests that year, so the only possible conclusion was that the Soviet Union had figured out how to make a nuclear bomb. This was the news the Americans had been dreading. Their military supremacy, achieved through the Manhattan Project, was quickly fading.
This makes the problem of Western Europe and the United States far more serious than it was before, and perhaps makes the imminence of war greater.
Some thought their best course of action was to launch an unprovoked nuclear strike against the Soviets while they were still ahead. In the words of Navy Secretary Matthews, to become aggressors for peace. John von Neumann, the founder of game theory, said, "If you say, why not bomb them tomorrow? I say, why not bomb them today?
Whoa!
If you say today at 5 o'clock, I say, why not at 1 o'clock? Something needed to be done about nuclear weapons, and fast. But what? In 1950, the RAND Corporation, a US-based think tank, was studying this question. And as part of this research, they turned to game theory. That same year, 2 mathematicians at RAND had invented a new game, one which, unbeknownst to them at the time, closely resembled the US-Soviet conflict. This game is now known as the prisoner's dilemma. So let's play a game. A banker with a chest full of gold coins invites you and another player to play against each other. You each get 2 choices. You can cooperate or you can defect. If you both cooperate, you each get 3 coins. If one of you cooperates but the other defects, then the one who defected gets 5 coins and the other gets nothing. And if you both defect, then you each get a coin. The goal of the game is simple: to get as many coins as you can. So, what would you do? Suppose your opponent cooperates. Then you could also cooperate and get 3 coins. Or you could defect and get 5 coins instead.
Whoa!
So you are better off defecting. But what if your opponent defects instead? Well, you could cooperate and get no coins, or you could defect and at least get 1 coin. So no matter what your opponent does, your best option is always to defect. Now, if your opponent is also rational, they will reach the same conclusion and therefore also defect. As a result, when you both act rationally, you both end up in the suboptimal situation, getting 1 coin each, when you could have gotten 3 instead. In the case of the US and Soviet Union, this led both countries to develop huge nuclear arsenals of tens of thousands of nuclear weapons each, more than enough to destroy each other many times over. But since both countries had nukes, neither could use them. And both countries spent around $10 trillion developing these weapons.
Wow.
Both would have been better off if they had cooperated and agreed not to develop this technology further. But since they both acted in their own best interest, they ended up in a situation where everyone was worse off. The Prisoner's Dilemma is one of the most famous games in game theory. Thousands and thousands of papers have been published on versions of this game. In part, that's because it pops up everywhere. Impalas, living in between African woodlands and savannas, are prone to catching ticks, which can lead to infectious diseases, paralysis, even death. So it's important for impalas to remove ticks, and they do this by grooming. But they can't reach all the spots on their bodies, and therefore they need another impala to groom them. Now, grooming someone else comes at a cost. It costs saliva, electrolytes, time, and attention, all vital resources under the hot African sun, where a predator could strike at any moment. So for the other impala, it would be best not to pay this cost. But then again, it too will need help grooming. So all impalas face a choice. Should they groom each other or not? In other words, should they cooperate or defect? Well, if they only interact once, then the rational solution is always to defect. That other Impala is never going to help you, so why bother? But the thing about a lot of problems is that they're not a single prisoner's dilemma. Impalas see each other day after day, and the same situation keeps happening over and over again. So that changes the problem. Because instead of playing the prisoner's dilemma just once, you're now playing it many, many times. And if I defect now, then my opponent will know that I defected, and they can use that against me in the future. So what is the best strategy in this repeated game?
The defecting over and over again when the other person doesn't? That's this one, by the way.
That is what Robert Axelrod, a political scientist, wanted to find out. So in 1980, he decided to hold a computer tournament.
He invited some of the world's leading game theorists from many different subjects to submit computer programs that would play each other.
Axelrod called these programs strategies. Each strategy would face off against every other strategy and against a copy of itself. And each matchup would go for 200 rounds. That's important, and we'll come back to it. Now, Axelrod used points instead of coins, but the payoffs were the same. The goal of the tournament was to win as many points as possible, and in the end, the whole tournament was repeated 5 times over to ensure the success was robust and not just a fluke. Axelrod gave an example of a simple strategy. It would start each game by cooperating and only defect after its opponent had defected twice in a row. In total, Axelrod received 14 strategies, and he added a 15th called random, which...
We watched... I'll never be able to find where this was, but we watched the Sapolsky had like this whole lecture series on tit for tat, and he goes over a lot of these strategies that show up in Nature.
Then, in the 1970s, there was an economist at University of Michigan named Robert Axelrod, who revolutionized the entire field. What he did was he took some Paleolithic computer and programmed in how the prisoner's dilemma would be played.
Cute. Oh, it's the same thing. Wow.
And
what are the
he
chances?
Could program in as if there were 2 players, and he could program in what each one's strategy would be. And what he then did was he wrote to all of his buddies and all of his mathematician friends and prize fighters and theologians and serial murderers and Nobel Peace Prize winners, and in each case explain what was up and saying, what strategy would you use in a prisoner's dilemma game? And he gets them all back, and he programs all these different versions, and he runs a round-robin tournament. Every strategy is paired against every other strategy at one point or other, and you look at what the payoff is, you ask, which is the most optimal strategy? And out of it, shockingly to everyone, because this was a computer teaching us optimizing human behavior, out of it came one simple strategy that always outcompeted the others. This is people sitting there, probabilistic ones as to when to cooperate and lunar cycles as to what to do. The one that always won is now called tit for tat. You start off cooperating. In the very first round with the individual, you cooperate. If the individual has cooperated with you in that round, you cooperate in the next round. And you cooperate as long as the other individual cooperates. But as soon as there's a round where the individual cheats against you, you cheat against them the next time. If they cheated at you that time also, you cheat against them the next time. If they go back to cooperating, you go back to cooperating the next time. You have this tit-for-tat strategy. In the absence of somebody stabbing you in the back, you will always cooperate. And what they found was run these hundreds of thousands of versions of these round-robin tournaments, and tit-for-tat was the one that was most optimal. To begin to use a word that is not just going to be a metaphor, tit-for-tat always drove the other strategies into extinction. And what you wound up seeing is this optimized strategy. And it was very clear why tit-for-tat worked so well. Number one, it was nice. You start off cooperating. Number two, it retaliates if you do something crummy to it. Number three, it is forgiving if you go back to cooperating. Number four, it's clear-cut in its play. It's not some probabilistic thing. And what
the other person has to go back, right?
What you get then with tit for tat is, suppose you're playing 3 rounds with another individual, you both cooperate the first one, you both cooperate the next one, you're playing tit for tat strategy, so you cooperate on this one, and they stab you in the back, and you can't get back at them because this is the last round. What you'll see is under lots of circumstances, tit for tat is disadvantageous, but what the soundbite is about it is, tit for tat may lose the battles, but it wins all the wars. This pattern of being nice, but being retaliatory, being forgiving, and being clear in the rules drives all the other strategies into extinction.
I guess it's or maybe he'll explain this more here, but that's what this is.
It would start each game by cooperating and only defect after its opponent had defected twice in a row. In total, Axelrod received 14 strategies, and he added a 15th called random, which just randomly cooperates or defects 50% of the time. All strategies were loaded onto a single computer where they faced off against each other. One of the strategies was called Friedman. It starts off by cooperating, but if its opponent defects just once, it will keep defecting for the remainder of the game. Another strategy was called Joss. It also starts by cooperating, but then it just copies what the other player did on the last move. Then around 10% of the time, Joss gets sneaky and defects. There was also a rather elaborate strategy called Grass Camp. This strategy works the same as Joss, but instead of defecting probabilistically, Grass Camp defects in the 50th round, to try and probe the strategy of its opponent and see if it can take advantage of any weaknesses. The most elaborate strategy was Name Withheld, with 77 lines of code. After all the games were played, the results were tallied up and the leaderboard established.
The crazy thing was that the simplest program ended up winning, a program that came to be called Tit for Tat.
Tit for Tat starts by cooperating, and then it copies exactly what its opponent did in the last move. So it would follow cooperation with cooperation and defection with defection. But only once. If its opponent goes back to cooperating, so does Tit for Tat. When Tit for Tat played against...
This is the Tit for Tat, is right here. That's what this is. And ideally, it can be this, too. If the other side is civil, then you're civil. These things, the infinite surrender, is a losing strategy. This is not the worst that it can be. This is the worst that it can be. Well, for one side. For the other side, it's not.
Friedman both started by cooperating, and they kept cooperating, both ending up with perfect scores for complete cooperation. When Tit for Tat played against Joss, they too started by cooperating, but then on the 6th move, Joss defected.
I don't understand what the actual thing they are strategizing for is. Well, they're strategizing for positive outcomes, and the positive outcome is reliant upon how the other person treats you. If another person treats you well, and then you treat them well, then both of you are in a cooperative relationship. If the other person takes advantage of you and steals something from you, then they might make off really well, but you're going to stop cooperating with them, and then now both of you are fucked. And it's only when one person goes back to treating you well that you go back to treating them well again. And that sort of reciprocal behavior is like hardcore evolutionarily, biologically enforced throughout tons of different species. You can find, I think, Sapolsky, I think in his lecture series goes on a ton, you could like it, maybe even like funguses or whatever. Like you can find this type of evolutionarily cooperative behavior back and forth. But you can see obviously that that there are issues with the simplicity of the game, right? Which I say issues. I mean, obviously the people who made this are going to know, right? This relies, for instance, on information to be accurately gleaned from both sides. So, for instance, if you think the other side has been, tatting you when you've been tatting them, or if you think you've been titting them, but they've been titting you, like you have to be able to accurately see what both sides are doing as well, right?
When Tit for Tat played against Joss, they too started by cooperating, but then on the 6th move, Joss defected. This sparked a series of back and forth defections.
I don't know if this guy will get into it, for instance, but Tit for Tat is only the best strategy globally, assuming other people, I believe, are playing... No, other sort of strategies. If you're doing... No, hold on, I'm sorry, forget what I just said. Tit for Tat is always the best strategy, but you have to change up, because if you have like tit or whatever for tat, or if you allow another person to take advantage of you, then other strategies become optimal. I think Sapolsky talks about this. I don't know if I'll get into it in this, but like if you, for instance, if you're playing against a player who's not using tit for tat, they're using something that's more forgiving. Or I'm sorry, you're using something that's more forgiving, then they will be able to take advantage of you more and drive your negatives deeper while they take more advantage of you. It's not a good strategy. It's not a moral strategy.
A sort of echo effect.
Okay, so now you've got this alternating thing, which will remind you of some of the politics of the world today, where we have to do something to you because of what you did to us. And then when this weird program throws in a second unprovoked defection, now it's really bad, because now both programs are going to defect on each other for the rest of the game. And that's also like some of the things that we're seeing in politics today and in international relations.
As a result of these mutual retaliations, both Tit for Tat and Joss did poorly. But because Tit for Tat managed to cooperate with enough other strategies, it still won the tournament. We're being joined.
Hey, my God, there's Professor Axelrod.
Hey, there's David Sparks.
What a treat this is.
I imagine initially.
Thank you. The oversimplification tricks people into thinking game theory is a solution. Reality is not like this. The calculation of Nash equilibrium is non-trivial in real life. Well, not only is it in real life, there's a ton of other things. I'm pretty sure game theory, like people think that Prisoner's Dilemma is game theory. I think Prisoner's Dilemma is like a very specific example of a very specific problem game theory, but game theory is a whole branch of very complicated mathematics, right? Like if you know how Prisoner's Dilemma works, that doesn't mean you necessarily know anything at all about all of the maths involved around different aspects of game theory. But not to say that you shouldn't waste your time, like at least like understanding these concepts.
Initially, it'd be sort of like computer chess, where you need a pretty complicated program to play a sophisticated game. But in fact, it was not like that at all. It was the simplest strategy that did the best. So I analyzed how that happened.
Axelrod found that all the best performing strategies, including Tit for Tat, shared 4 qualities. First, they were all nice, which...
Destiny, doesn't this only work if it's 3-1-5 ratio? What if it's more neutral? I don't know if Sapolsky alters the rewards. Maybe this guy will in this video. But if you alter the rewards and different things, then my guess is the behavior will change as well. So for instance, like, I shouldn't call MAD tit for tat, but like, I believe that, for instance, nuclear powers, I think, are more forgiving of conflict than we think they are. People think that like nuclear powers, if one side blows up another side, they'll instantly nuke the other person. But because the punishment for nuclear warfare is so unbelievably negative, I think that there's like more like tit for tat. Like I think people would let somebody go pretty far before they would start pulling the trigger on nukes, because the punishment, the negatives on both sides there are really bad.
Just means they are not the first to defect. So
is this what Israel and Iran do? Yes. Actually, whenever you hear me talk about a lot of the bombings that were going on before, these were all tit for tat interactions. I think that you can probably generalize this to the country level for survival as well. This is why I said it's good. This is why it's good that, remember what I said before, for the information, the visibility is essential, right? And economics and behavior, whatever you're talking about, information, meaning like the ability for both sides to understand what's actually transpiring, is essential. If you don't know what's happening, then you're going to make decisions based off of information that might not be real. So it becomes much harder to predict the strategy unless you can predict how they're not perceiving the information. So when somebody bombs somebody, when we kill Soleimani or when we do something else, when Iran says, we are going to bomb your thing, when Russia is moving nukes around in the open, they're openly playing tit for tat. You killed our guy, we're going to bomb your shit. Right? This is why I said it's counterproductive. And I guess the public can't see this. The public thinks there's a way different game going on. But the scary thing would be if you attack some other large power and they don't respond and they don't say anything and you have no idea what's going on. But if you attack some other power and they start beating their chest or rattling their saber, we're going to bomb your base and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, this is good. It shows that everybody is still playing the tit for tat game. And ideally that's what you want. And this does happen in international military back and forths.
In retaliation. The opposite of nice is nasty. That's a strategy that defects first. So Joss is nasty. Out of the 15 strategies in the tournament, 8 were nice and 7 nasty. The top 8 strategies were all...
Do these theories take for granted that each side have similar facts, perspectives, and understanding for when a side is coming? This is just a model that works in a very basic level. As you start, yes, taking it for granted is just too... It's a binary option on each side. It's a 0 or a 1 on both sides that they're equally perceiving at all points in time. Obviously, this is simplified. But obviously, they know this is simplified, right? But you have to understand your abstract before you get into more particular examples.
Joss is nasty. Out of the 15 strategies in the tournament, 8 were nice and 7 nasty. The top 8 strategies were all nice. And even the worst performing nice strategy still far outscored the best performing nasty one. The second important quality was being forgiving. A forgiving strategy is one that can retaliate, but it doesn't hold a grudge. So tit for tat is a forgiving strategy. It retaliates when its opponent defects, but it doesn't let defections from before the last round influence its current decisions. Friedman, on the other hand, is maximally unforgiving.
After the first defection, just from the opponent would defect for the rest of the game. Okay, that's it. No mercy. And that might feel good to do, but it doesn't end up working out well in the long run.
This conclusion, that it pays to be nice and forgiving, came as a shock to the experts. Many had tried to be tricky and create subtle, nasty strategies to beat their opponent and eke out an advantage, but they all failed. Instead, in this tournament, nice guys finished first. Now, tit for tat is quite forgiving, but it's possible to be even more forgiving.
And then, despite what Red Pillars will tell you, this like perfectly maps onto a lot of the animal world as well, right? A lot of the alpha male behavior you see with, I think it's silverback gorillas and one other thing or whatever. Like a lot of the big animal groups, even amongst their leaderships, like there's a ton of pro-social behavior. There's a lot of like mutually beneficial stuff that's going on. It's not just one like god, wolf, king, whatever the fuck, bowling around everybody else. It's a lot of back and forth cooperative stuff. And that makes sense too for human civilization. Like a hardcore specialization of labor. We all cooperate in different ways across massive projects. Like this is how so much of human society has been, pushed forward.
Axelrod's sample strategy only defects after its opponent defected twice in a row. It was tit for 2 tats. Now, that might sound overly generous, but when Axelrod ran the numbers, he found that if anyone had submitted the sample strategy, they would have won the tournament.
I mean, it's so clever. There's so many layers to this story. After Axelrod published his analysis of what happened, or circulated it among these game theorists, he said, now that we all know what worked well, let's try again.
So he announced a second tournament where everything would be the same except for one change, the number of rounds per game. See, in the first tournament, each game lasted...
Ooh, I don't know what the answer to this is, but I've heard that maximally defeatist strategies work here because if you know that your opponent is going to backstab you on round 3, well, then you might as well backstab them on round 2. So they might as well backstab you on round 1. I don't know how that
precisely 200 rounds. And that is important, because if you know when the last round is, then there's no reason to cooperate in that round. So you're better off defecting. Of course, your opponent should reason the same, and so they should also defect in the last round. But if you both anticipate defection in the last round, then there's no reason for you to cooperate in the second to last round, or the round before that, and so on all the way to the very first round.
And so in Axelrod's tournament, it was a very important thing that the players didn't know exactly how long they were going to be playing. They knew on average it would be 200 rounds, but there was a random number generator that prevented them from knowing with certainty.
Yeah, if you're not sure when it ends, then you have to kind of keep cooperating because it might keep going, and you might need them on your side. Yeah. For this second tournament, Axelrod received 62 entries, and again added random. The contestants had gotten the results and analysis
way back in the day. We recorded stuff like on tape, and then these were like put inside like these little we called them floppy disks. For my Zoomer audience that doesn't know what these are, when you click save on games and stuff and you see the little symbol pop up, it's a floppy disk. Okay, what could these store? Like 5 megabytes of
random. The contestants had gotten the results and analysis from the first tournament and could use this information to their advantage. This created 2 camps. Some thought that clearly being nice and forgiving were winning qualities, so they submitted nice and forgiving strategies. One even submitted tit for 2 tats. The second camp anticipated that others would be nice and extra forgiving, and therefore they submitted nasty strategies to try to take advantage of those that were extra forgiving. One such strategy was called Tester. It would defect on the first move to see how its opponent reacted. If it retaliated, Tester would apologize and play tit for tat for the remainder of the game. If it didn't retaliate, Tester would defect every other move after that. But again, being nasty didn't pay.
And once again, tit for tat was the most effective.
Nice strategies again did much better. In the top 15, only 1 was not nice. Similarly, in the bottom 15, only 1 was not nasty. After the second tournament, Axelrod identified the other qualities that distinguish the better performing strategies. The third is being retaliatory, which means if your opponent—
Wait, hold on, I haven't thought about this, I'm sorry. Am I retarded? What happens if you're doing tit for tat, but like, you both start off opposite? You don't get locked in a death spiral, do you? Or is there a solution for that? What's this, or is it assuming you both start off nice? Because if he gets fucked, now he's gonna fuck him, and then he tries to play. You do get locked in a death spiral? He goes into it? Oh, okay.
When it defects, strike back immediately. Don't be a pushover. Always cooperate is a total pushover, and so it's very easy to take advantage of. Tit for tat, on the other hand, is very hard to take advantage of. The last quality that Axelrod identified is being clear.
Programs that were too opaque, that were too similar to a random program, you couldn't figure them out because they were so complicated. It was very hard to establish any pattern of trust with a program like that because you couldn't figure out what it was doing. Not you, I mean, the other programs it was playing couldn't figure them out. And so they would end up more or less defaulting to thinking every turn is like the last time I'm going to see you, so I might as well.
This plays into a lot of like learning and everything as well, right? Like if you're trying to learn a skill, it's important that you have positive feedback to show you exactly how your body or brain or your synapses are adapted to the thing you're learning. So like if you're playing a video game and you're trying to push a button and time something, it's good to have good feedback so that you can see that you're building on something that you can, engage in repetition and everything to learn some motor pathway or whatever. But if it's hard, like playing like a 1v1 game or a fighting game is easier to improve at, in my opinion, than playing like a team game. Because in a team game, it's harder to tell when you're making a mistake because the feedback isn't always, clear and obvious to you. Because it could be a teammate that's fucking up as opposed to you yourself.
As well defect. What to me is mind-blowing about this is that these 4 principles, being nice, forgiving, provocable, and clear, is a lot like the morality that has evolved around the world that is often summarized as an eye for an eye. It's not Christianity, by the way. It's not turn the other cheek philosophy. It's some older philosophy.
What's interesting is that while tit for 2 tats would have won the first tournament, it only came 24th in the second tournament. This highlights an important fact. In the repeated prisoner's dilemma, there is no single best strategy. The strategy that performs best always depends on the other strategies it's interacting with. For example, if you put tit for tat in an environment with only the ultimate bullies of always defect, then tit for tat comes in last.
I wanted to see whether, for example, the tit for tat did well because it did well with really stupid rules that didn't do well at all themselves. That basically took advantage of people.
So he ran a simulation where successful strategies in one generation would see their numbers grow and unsuccessful ones would see their numbers drop. In this simulation, the worst performing strategies quickly shrink and go extinct, while the top performing strategies become more common. Harrington, the only nasty strategy in the top 15, first grew quickly, but then as the strategies it was preying on went extinct, Harrington's numbers also quickly dropped.
Loser.
This shows a main benefit of this simulation because it tests how well a strategy does with other successful strategies. After 1,000 generations, the proportions are mostly stable, and only nice strategies survive. Again, tit for tat comes out on top, representing 14.5% of the total population. Now, this process may sound similar to evolution, but there is a subtle difference, which is that in this case there are no mutations, so it's actually an ecological simulation. But what if the world you started in was different?
Imagine a world that is a really nasty place to live, more or less populated with players that always defect. Except there's a little cluster of tit-for-tat players that live in some kind of nucleus. And they get to play with each other a lot because they're geographically sequestered. They will start building up a lot of points, and also, because that translates into offspring, they'll start to take...
The amount of open, bloodthirsty posts I've seen from conservatives today is genuinely stunning. How can they complain about toxic rhetoric and violence and then be so openly bloodthirsty, depressing? Again, I don't like to sound like an asshole, but it all plays into this. There's a reason I drew this today. There's a reason I watch this now. The tit for tat thing is a very real back and forth. Tit for tat is what you saw when Asmongold said, I don't want to make this joke because I think Destiny's going to roast me for it, right? If a side is allowed to indefinitely take advantage of the other side with no repercussion or no payback, then they're going to continue to do it. And they probably should continue to do it because it's the advantageous strategy. And that's how conservatives have been acting in the United States for at least the last decade, if not more. There has to be a cost associated with your behavior. And this is, I said this, and I think I still probably believe this because we haven't nuked ourselves yet. The worst outcome of the 2024 election was legitimizing conservative behavior for the past 10 years. I still think it's probably the worst outcome of that election. It's the fact that you said it's okay to act in this cancerous of a manner, in this one-sided of a way, in this like horribly cancerous, detrimental to civility and everything else. Like it was the ultimate like reward, canonization almost of that type of behavior.
Sequestered. They will start building up a lot of points, and also, because that translates into offspring, they'll start to take over the population. So, in fact, Axelrod showed that a little island of cooperation can emerge and spread, and eventually will take over the world, which is fantastic. How can cooperation emerge in a population of players who are self-interested, who are not trying to be good because they're good-hearted? You don't have to be altruistic. You could be looking out for number one, for yourself and your own interests, and yet cooperation can still emerge.
Some argue that this could explain how we went from a world full of completely selfish organisms, where every organism only cared about themselves, to one where cooperation emerged and flourished.
That's also why the view of trade is a zero-sum game, where every trade deficit represented somebody taking advantage of some fucking silver. Is just an absolutely absurdly childish, stupid way to view the world economy and the U.S. economy.
From impalas grooming each other to fish cleaning sharks. Many life forms experience conflicts similar to the prisoner's dilemma, but because they don't interact just once, both can be better off by cooperating. And this doesn't require trust or conscious thought either, because the strategy could be encoded in DNA. As long as it performs better than the other strategies, it can take over a population. Axelrod's insights were applied to areas like evolutionary biology and international conflicts. But there was one aspect that his original tournaments didn't cover. What happens if there is a little bit of random error in the game, some noise in the system? For example, one player tries to cooperate, but it comes across as a defection. Little errors like this happen in the real world all the time. Like in 1983, the Soviet satellite-based early warning system detected the launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile from the US. But the US hadn't launched anything. The Soviet system had confused sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds with a ballistic missile. Thankfully, Stanislav Petrov, the Soviet officer on duty, dismissed the alarm. But this example shows the potential costs of a signal error and the importance of studying the effects of noise on those strategies.
The word game sounds like it's a children's game, or there's something a misnomer maybe in calling it game theory, because these are life and death matters, obviously. And as you mentioned that this came up in the Cold War, I mean, it could actually be life and death of the whole planet. We could annihilate humans.
Holy shit. That Russian guy, I just realized who he was. You know who that guy was? Do you know who that guy was? The fucking alarms are going off. People are screaming at him, they're getting nuked. This guy rolls over in bed and he hits him up with the nothing ever happens. He was literally this guy. The nothing ever happens guy. I doubt it. I don't think they're actually nuking us. No shot. And he went back to sleep.
Civilization. So these are not games in any kind of trivial sense. It's just the term that is used by mathematicians and theorists.
When tit-for-tat plays against itself in a noisy environment, both start off by cooperating. But if a single cooperation is perceived as a defection, then the other tit-for-tat retaliates, and it sets off a chain of alternating retaliations. And if another cooperation is perceived as a defection, then the rest of the game is constant mutual defection. Therefore, in the long run, both would only get a third of the points they would get in a perfect environment. Tit-for-tat goes from performing very well to performing poorly. So how do you solve this? Well, you need a reliable way to break out of these echo effects. And one way to do this is by playing tit-for-tat, but with around 10% more forgiveness. So instead of retaliating after every defection, you only retaliate around 9 out of every 10 times. This helps you break out of those echoes while still being retaliatory enough to not be taken advantage of.
And so we also ran the tournament with noise and generosity. And that did quite well. My favorite example is tit for tat does really well, but it could never do better than the player it's playing with.
I mean, think about it. By design, all they can do is lose or draw. And yet, when the results of all interactions are tallied up, they come out ahead of all other strategies. Similarly, always defect can never lose a game. It can only draw or win. But overall, it performs extremely poorly. This highlights a common misconception, because for many people when they think about winning, they think they need to beat the other person. In games like chess or poker, this is true, since one person's gain is necessarily another person's loss, so these games are zero-sum. But most of life is not zero-sum. To win, you don't need to get your reward from the other player. Instead, you can get it from the banker. Only in real life, the banker is the world. It is literally everything around you. It is just up to us to find those win-win situations and then work together to unlock those rewards. Cooperation pays, even among rivals. From 1950 to 1986, the US and Soviet Union had trouble cooperating, and both kept developing nukes. But then, from the late 80s onwards, they started reducing their nuclear stockpiles. They too had learned how to resolve conflict. Rather than making an agreement to abolish all nuclear arms at once and essentially turning it into a single prisoner's dilemma, they would disarm slowly, a small number of nukes each year, and then they'd check each other to see that they had both cooperated, and then repeat the year after, and the year after that, all along checking to ensure mutual cooperation. In the more than 40 years since Axelrod's tournaments, researchers have continued to study which strategies perform best in a variety of environments. In doing so, they varied everything from payoff structures to strategies to errors and more. Some even allow the strategies to mutate. While tit for tat or generous tit for tat doesn't always come out on top, Axelrod's main takeaways still hold. Be nice, forgiving, but don't be a pushover.
Can I ask you, why did Anatole Rappaport submit tit for tat?
Well, the reason was because I asked him to. and he wrote saying,